My name is zombillyray. I'm a professional graphic artist. I'm also a lowbrow artist for the custom culture movement. I started in 2010. I've worked for several companies including Too Fast Clothing, Sourpuss Clothing, Viva Las Vegas, Rockabilly Weekend. I've worked for bands like Dropkick Murphys, Agnostic Front. I've worked for other figures such as Masumi Max and others to name a few. The lowbrow movement itself has its origins set in the turn of the century, the early 1900s, when the tattoo community started to come out and wasn't considered part of the norm. Sailors, anyone involved in that movement kind of pioneered the idea for rebellious art. They moved on to like Sailor Jerry, and then in the 1950s lowbrow became more and more popular, but it kind of fused with the concept of hot rod art. So you've got like Big Daddy Ed Roth, who's one of my favorite artists of all time. Got a bunch of other ones, basically just showing the idea of rock and roll and rebellion against what was considered the norm of the 1950s, yet keeping the style of the Americana and structure of what made America great in the 1950s. My style is heavily inspired by the 1950s. I'm a big fan of 1950s cinema, of pinups, hot rods, greasers, rockabilly music, which is a fusion of rock and country music that came out in the 1950s. Juvenile delinquents, hot rod flicks, monster films from the 1950s tend to heavily inspire me, but my edge that sets me apart from classic style lowbrow is the fact that I fuse all of those into a modern version. I tend to use a lot of modified women. I tend to use a lot of different elements of horror as opposed to just staying traditional rockabilly, or just being plain or boring. So a lot of my clients tend to enjoy that, especially when they have to fuse two styles together, especially in subcultures, whether it be punk, rock, horror, punk, rockabilly, psychobilly, alternative. Doesn't really matter. I tend to work for any demographic depending on what they need. I work to suit pretty much, and it's got a good response so far. So what I'm looking forward to in the near future is completing my animated series, which I've been working on for a while. Working with bigger names, with bigger companies, possibly with Target or Vans Shoes and Clothing. Lately I've been doing a lot of portraits. I do portraits on the side when I want to pass the time, or I want to break the monotony when I'm not working with a client. I also take commissions with portraits as well. I've only been painting for about 1.5 to 2 years. I'm self-taught. I find it relieves a lot of stress. This is zombillyray, and thank you for watching my video. If you want to work with me, drop me a line. We'll see what we can do. Thank you.